Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, and I'm back to continue reading. It seems to be chapter 8. I say that because I don't really see when chapter 9 happens. Again, I'm not a book writer, but I wanted to share my experience. I had it on my heart that that's what I needed to do when I became aware that my experience was unique, as is everyone's. This is Beyond Recovery, intended to help people go further than just getting sober or further than just uh, being in recovery for the rest of your life. I'm Andrew. This is my book. I'm going to continue reading. This is Mocha Mugs Fusion Espresso Coffee, not your average coffee. Should help me get through the reading pretty quickly today. All right. So I left off at I am going to use the next few pages to describe a couple different cases in depth. And these are people that I got to personally study while they were in recovery or in their recovery and in their path to be going beyond that. All right, the first study, friendship, mentorship, I engaged in and was, in my opinion, at the moment, addicted to being in recovery. Shortly after we met, he had a temporary relapse. At that point, the two of us decided to examine the incident in hopes to gain an insight as to why it happened. Instead of judging ourselves and himself, we decided to study it and analyze it. One theory we devised together was that it was possible that recovery and treatment had become his new paradigm, habit, or new addiction. When he began to search for something more than just sobriety, his paradigm sent him back into relapse to ensure that he would have something to recover from. He ignored those feelings of failure and considered it a minor setback. I encouraged him to be quick to forgive himself because resentment is a toxic emotional state. His boss, his girlfriend, and his new friend, me, were all helpful, I think, in helping him file it away as a setback or just a temporary slip up. Our attitudes towards him did not change. I believe that helped his attitude towards himself not change. He put it best when he said having to go to the treatment and be in recovery was something he had developed a self-resentment for, thus retarding progress. Developing a habit of treatment or recovery is bad enough, but often accompanied by toxic resentment for self. Again, you guys, resenting yourself for being an addict is toxic, and it will hold any of your progress. It will keep your crops from blossoming and blooming. When Jesus encounters a crippled man who is laying by a magical well with supernatural healing powers, he has one question. The man tells him a story of waiting by the well in order to be healed when its magical powers were activated. He had spent many years there, and I am almost certain he had developed a habit of waiting to be healed. So he enjoyed waiting, not being healed. It's slight. Don't get caught up in the paradigm of waiting to be healed. Go ahead and believe you are cured. Be healed. Become whole. Become your true self. I repeat this because it is important. Do not make a habit of waiting to be healed. Jesus asked him one question. Do you want to be well? The other implied question there that goes along with that, do you like being crippled and waiting for a cure? Has this become your new identity? Can you see yourself being whole and healed? And he answered Jesus, yes. Can you say yes to that question? And this is what I'm asking myself. Can I say yes to that question? Do I want to be healed? Do I really want to? Or do I want to wear this around like a badge? In other words, then Jesus told him, pick up your things and go and be well. And so as a side note, one of my editors, Mr. Faulkner, has written out here, to become someone different, you must do different things. You will have to do different things if you want to be someone different, because our existence is made up of our thoughts and our emotions and our actions. So doing different stuff. Pick up your things and be well. In other words, you don't need a magical well or a miracle. The miracle is within you. Should you decide to be well, then you choose to be well, you will be well. Do you want to be well? Some other popular answers to this question are, I think so. I'm not really sure. Well, I'm pretty comfortable in my miserable little life. Yes, but I'm scared to change. and what that may mean. No, I'm comfortable complaining about my disease. Let me say that one again. No, I don't want to be well. I'm comfortable here complaining about my disease. I will never be well. I will always be sick. Do whatever you can in your power to answer with a resounding yes. Recovery, addiction shouldn't become your new identity. The crippled man by the well should not become your new identity. I asked my newfound friend to ask a few questions that he would like me to address in this book. The first question he asked was, how do I find true peace and life purpose outside of an anonymous program? This reply is strictly my opinion. However, there are some universal truths amongst my answer, therefore there will be facts to be had. Well, I am not shocked that there was no peace while practicing addiction. I'm not shocked that there was no peace in recovery. One thing that immediately came to mind was a lesson I learned from a Charles Stanley DVD. I'll tell a story someday about how that DVD came to me, but I ended up watching it many times. Anyway, simply put, constancy builds character. Remaining true to yourself and your goal of sobriety has to be a constant in order to even begin to develop your character. Staying sober should not remain the top priority for you. Should become the top priority. You should become better at it, and it will get easier. Achieving your potential is a great thing to place at the top of our life goals list. If you still have cravings, keep sober on the list somewhere. But achieving potential eventually has to override that and be the main goal. However, nurturing, feeding, and encouraging the good goals and life dreams will mathematically and scientifically starve the poor or negative goals you used to have. They will wither up and die. That's funny. They will wither up and die, and you will birth new dreams and new goals and ambitions will begin to grow and blossom and bloom and yield fruit. Endeavoring to persevere and attempt to reach your highest potential will help you discover and appreciate yourself in a better, highly evolved manner. This awareness and appreciation is what I refer to as inner peace. And inner peace will be found with a greater appreciation of who and what you really are. So some self-awareness, self-actualization. Be the change you want to see in the world. And I know he's a Buddhist, so I use that on purpose. discovering yourself to be the highest form of creation known to man. The human mind and body really are magnificent tools. You live in and operate one. No man alive can guess at what you're capable of achieving in your lifetime. When you're born, no scientist, no one would dare guess at what you're capable of achieving in a lifetime. No, I do not believe we are gods. I do believe we were made in the image of the Almighty Creator. Mathematically and scientifically, that makes us God-like creatures. God has work to do. The progress of the universe and every little thing in it depend on the work being done. I believe God's work to be creating, restoring, healing, loving, giving, comforting, helping, forgiving, prospering, and blessing. There's more, but that's what I wrote down this day. Based on that belief, I reason that our real work here on earth consists of that exact same list. So we should busy ourselves creating, restoring, healing, loving, giving, comforting, helping, forgiving, prospering, blessing. If we busy ourselves with that, it starves out the selfishness of I don't know how to deal with things, and I drink because I'm depressed, or I drink to cope with emotions, or it just starves them out. It fills your spirit with this stuff. Get to work. Make a commitment to your commitments. I believe true inner peace can be achieved from giving your best effort to do work related to that list. You can develop the ability to rest in the presence of the universal intelligence, or what I call the presence of God or Holy Spirit, regardless of circumstances. You will find yourself able to be calm and peaceful and joyful under chaotic, stressful circumstances. Once you discover how amazing of a being you are and begin to attempt to achieve your potential, you will have a most unique experience. There is greatness in each of us. Oh, thanks, Mr. Faulkner. That was another one of his. Because you have endless potential, it never has to end. The uniqueness is what I believe we have to offer. I would like to add that I don't personally believe anyone who is just staying sober, a white-knuckle sobriety, is achieving very much of their potential. Being sober is ground zero, square one, for being able to have a mind, body, and spirit that are functioning together properly. There are no two human beings exactly alike. God gains a greater awareness and appreciation of His creation when I love my family in only the way that I can. There will never be another me. There has never been a me before. The same is true about my family. So when I'm enjoying, loving, or sharing love with my family, love, which is synonymous with God in my world, is actually enjoying and delighting in the experience as well. In my opinion, the 12-step program is to help people get off of the wrong path and back on a good path. Period. The 12-step program itself is not a path. It's merely a stepping stone. It was not meant to be a lifestyle. At my funeral, I hope people say, he was such a creative, loving, kind, generous, and amazing human being. I would be sad for people to say, he was a bad drunk, but he was able to stay sober for the last half of his life. I don't know why I wrote that. That Andrew guy, he sure was mostly sober, you know. Or he was miserable and sober, but he didn't ruin anybody else's life. I like to think of recovery like a cast and a physical therapy to an Olympic athlete. Once you have completed the program, it's time to start training for the race again. Or your original assignment or purpose that was in place before you begin practicing your addiction. There's a 99% chance you will not find peace while practicing your addiction. There is a good chance you will not find peace in recovery. Peace will come later should you be able to continue, constancy builds character, your spiritual and mental growth and development in a constructive, harmonious manner. Challenge yourself to be positive and helpful spiritual beings. Challenge yourself. It's within you. It's within everyone. Okay, well, that was quite a long response to Okay, the second question, which I think I'm going to stop for today, but the second question he asked me was, how do I stay clean outside of a 12-step program? And the third question he asked me to address in the book was, how do I decide my true path while not allowing others to influence my decisions? So I will be back tomorrow with the end of chapter 8, where I answer a couple of questions, a personal study, someone that let me study them while I was writing this book that was in recovery. I gave him the opportunity to ask me some questions, and I'm going to be covering the second question. The first one was about inner peace, which I replied, constancy in a new way of being will lead to that. There's no plug-in Insta-peace. Insta-peace. I should probably copyright that. All right. How do I stay clean outside of a 12-step program? And the third question he asked was, how do I decide my true path while not allowing others to influence my decisions? I'll be covering those tomorrow when I continue reading Beyond Recovery. And apparently I'm still in a very long chapter 8. I'm Andrew Yurko. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Mocha Mugs. And I won't see y'all, but I'll be back covering this material tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good day.